It's been a couple of weeks since Stephen and I changed up formats on Better Podcasting to help us create additional content, including increased social media presence. Today, I'm going to run down how long it took to create one of those social media posts. Stay tuned. A few weeks ago, when Stephen and I changed the format of Better Podcasting, it was in the hopes that we'd be able to create some additional content for our viewers, listeners, and readers, including some enhanced social media presence. One of the subjects that I thought would be great to cover on social media was progress regarding a failed 2 terabyte hard drive on my podcasting computer. I created a 2-minute, 39-second video a couple days ago that looked a little bit like this. I told the story about how the night before my personal storage 2 terabyte drive on my podcasting computer failed. This was meant to be an easy video to go ahead and record and post to social media. I wanted a more conversational setup than here in the podcast studio, so I went ahead and set up on the kitchen table, laid out everything, went through a couple of takes of what I wanted to say, then went to go grab my GoPro Hero 7 Black. This all started about 7:30 in the morning, and by the time I got to the GoPro, it was about half an hour later. I set up the GoPro, took a framing shot with it, and only discovered that there was too much kitchen and not enough SP, not enough space to see what SP was actually showing. So I decided to move the camera in a little bit. It just wasn't working. I had to move over to my iPhone 8 Plus. I did so, and I used the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 that I have, go ahead and place it on the table using a standard base. Unfortunately, this was too low a placement, so I had to retract and move out that base and reinsert the tripod base and the monopod underneath the DJI Osmo Mobile 2. I took some quick framing shots. It was working pretty good, but I discovered that I hadn't used the DJI Mobile Osmo 2 in a while, and the battery was low. So I had to go and get a Aki external battery pack, and I plugged it in. Getting the cord took some time. It wasn't a lot of time, but this does start to all add up. I plugged it in, and the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 was now powered, and I didn't have to worry about it running out of power. Finished off my framing shots, and now the fun part happened. I got to actually record. I sat down, started recording, but it had been so long since I did my original takes that I kind of forgot what I was going to say. And it took multiple takes in order to get it done. Matter of fact, it took so many takes that I had to shut off the recording and restart it in order to keep the file size down in order to transport it off. It's a 4K 60 frame per second file off the iPhone 8 Plus that I use, and it starts to add up in terms of storage. Once I actually got the recording done in the second attempt, I went ahead and tried to upload the file to Dropbox. Dropbox is great because it downloads directly to my computer, and unfortunately, the file wouldn't upload to Dropbox. This is something that I've discovered in the past year, and I thought by keeping the file size smaller, I would be able to do it, but it didn't happen in this case. I ended up going through iCloud, which is a little bit of a pain because I have to pay for the storage, and I have to go ahead and use this little, you can't hardly see it, arrow in order to go ahead and download the uncompressed file from iCloud so I can actually use the uncompressed file for editing in terms of video and audio. Once the file was downloaded, I then tried to import it into Movie Studio 16.0. I did so, and it started to crash. And I discovered that my computer needed a Windows 10 update. Windows 10 updates generally don't take a while, or in this case, did. It shut down, it restarted, and then I had the spinning update wheel of death going on for quite some time. I thought this was just a longer update, so I decided to do the same update on my laptop, discovering that my laptop updated in lickety-split fashion. So after about half an hour, 45 minutes, I shut the computer down, restarted it up, it ran the update, and we were good to go. But again, this all took some time. Once I got the file into Movie Studio, I discovered that the 4K frame rate was not working well with my computer that day. It was very choppy, wouldn't actually flow at all, but I could hear the audio. So I decided to go ahead and render it and see what it looked like on the opposite side. It took about 20 minutes to render this, at this point, 3-minute and 30-second file, at which time I decided to take use of the time and go to the post office and mail off the part that I wanted to send. I came back and I decided to take a look at the file that was rendered, and unfortunately, there was a severe audio sync issue. This was a 5 to 6 second audio sync issue. This wasn't like a half a second audio sync issue. So I decided to go ahead and use the bye that I say at the end of the film to sync up the audio. And it looked a little bit like this.
Hi.
Using the extreme frame rate issue, I had to go frame by frame in order to sync up me saying bye to the bye, but it worked. I went ahead and rendered a 10-second demo to make sure that everything was synced up. It was. I then went to do a 12-second render to make sure that the audio processing, I changed some of the audio processing because there was so much echo in there, and it worked just fine. So I went ahead and did another 20-minute render. I decided to use the time to partially watch a Nova episode, set an alarm on my Amazon device. The alarm went off. I came in and I had the file. It was synced up. It was great. So I decided to do an entire preview, and I went through, we had 10-second intervals, and I got to a point where I started saying everything all over again. Yes, I had a final edit point that I did not take out. So I decided to cut that off and re-render the file, which took another 20 minutes. But in the process of doing the editing for that, guess what? A distraction occurred. Amazon came. Amazon dropped off a package that I was looking forward to getting. I tore into it when it came, and it was everything I had hoped it was, which was some items, charging items for the car, but I was really looking forward for them. So I got that, came back, ended the edit, went ahead and re-rendered, which took another 20 minutes. The render came out, and I was playing the file. I previewed the file, it worked fine, and I decided, instead of going to the gym like I wanted to 2 hours ago, to go ahead and wait for the upload to Facebook. Waited for the upload to Facebook. The upload finally went through, it processed, it posted at 11:23. Mind you, this entire endeavor started about 7:30 in the morning. So it was roughly 4 hours to get that final 2 hour and 39-minute file. I just wanted to make sure that you knew, if you wanted to create additional content, that sometimes it takes some time to make that content, and not just the quick 5-minute cut that you might think it is to make a small video post to Facebook. So let's go through the 10 steps that I had to do in order to make this file post on Facebook. I had to set up and practice. I set up the GoPro and made a GoPro change to the iPhone 8. I had an iPhone 8 Plus stand issue and had to add power to it. I had to frame the shot. I took multiple takes. I had to transfer the file. I had to update my PC in the process. I went to the post office. I re-rendered the file several times, and I was distracted by Amazon. So those 10 steps took roughly 4 hours in order to get that 2-minute and 39-second file out. If you have any comments about how long it takes you to create content, even a short social media post, go ahead and leave them down below. I'd love to hear your stories of how long it's taken you in order to create some simple content. I'll catch you all later. Bye.